after the video. Okay, I don't know if we're live yet, but I'm gonna start off the show a little different today before I welcome everybody with a little music. I got some hope that the stuff I've been preaching out for years is finally ready to spark the gears of intended ears. We're done with evil rulers pushing their fears, forcing us into compliance with their lies and fake tears. Perversion and coercion, they place the truth like an inversion, but now we emerging to counter their claims, burning their false narratives up into flames. We ain't playing no games, this is life or death. You coming for a life, it will be your last breath. Test my testes, get ready to taste these. Force a tyrant onto their knees. They will do what I please, cause I'm the master and they the public servant. I'm about to serve them a notice of eviction. The power is fiction, tell them to bring the friction, cause we about to end the power addiction. Stand up, rise up, cause you're leading the way. It's a revolution, you're leading the way. Don't stop, cause you're leading the way. It's a revolution, you're leading the way. Don't stop, cause you're leading the way. It's a revolution, you're leading the way. Well, I'm sure well, the good thing is I don't have to worry about a YouTube copyright strike because I have the artist himself here. I'm, welcome to the Rican Show. Today's guest is Kozi-19, and I'll let you introduce yourself. Let the audience know a little bit about yourself.
What's going on, everybody? Kozi-19 from Kozis Wellness on Instagram. Health freedom activist. Been doing this for almost, I don't know, maybe 20 years. Like, in terms
Wow.
of like speaking out, about medical freedom, um, and former healthcare worker that was fired for refusing the COVID vaccine. Um, and you know, right now I'm doing whatever I can to get the message out. I try different things. Just started making rap music about 2 years ago. I think almost 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half. A year and a half, I would say,
Okay.
releasing, rap music, and
Mhm.
I realized that, I think it's more effective for me to do that, to just create music and try to put the message into the music. And so that's what I'm trying to do. So that's where I'm at right now.
So you said you've been doing like this health stuff for 20 years, but then you were in the healthcare,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah.
I know what my reason was with the vaccine and stuff. What was yours? Like, because I don't even do the flu shot. So
Yeah. So I'm against all vaccines, um, every single one of them.
Mhm.
Around 2009, was it 2009? Um, Pretty much I started questioning it because um, they wanted to mandate the flu shot at my work. I worked at a nursing home,
Mhm.
and they were like, that was the H1N1, and they were like trying to force it on everybody.
Mhm.
And they said, "Oh, you need it; it's mandatory." Like they were trying to tell me, and I said, "No, I'm not taking this." I was like, first of all, I never get sick. I wasn't sick in like 27 years at that moment. I remember that. I was like, I haven't been sick in years, and that's foolish. Even if I get sick, I said, who cares? I get a flu, I'll recover. It's no big deal. I said, I don't know what's in this thing. So then I started looking into what's in it. I didn't really understand. Like I didn't even look at it until that point. Then I started reading about it, like doing research because I'm very health conscious. Like ever since I was like 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, I started looking into health. Uh, and I started realizing like the mainstream medicine was terrible. It was like they didn't know what they were doing in terms of, I mean, they're great for surgery, they're great for infections, they're the
Yeah.
top. We have to respect what we respect. So I respect them on that. They can you get hit by a bus, you don't want to go to a herbal remedy
Yeah.
guy. You're gonna go to, what I mean? You go to the pros.
Well,
I'm
what
not.
I always tell people is like, Western, like modern Western medicine is good for like, emergency care.
Hmm.
But if you want to stay healthy, then you need to go alternative. Like for example, I've been taking vitamin D, like high
Hmm.
levels of vitamin D for over 20 years. And now people are starting to see like the benefits of vitamin D. I remember like they saying that's one of the, if you had levels of vitamin D, it was one of the co-factors for COVID.
Hmm. Yeah, because we are energy. We are electrical beings, right?
Mhm.
We are, our cells create electricity, and we need electricity to live. Every cell communicates with electricity. The sun
Mhm.
is what powers us. That's one of the major things that powers everything. It gives energy to the plants, right?
Mhm.
Without the sun, we don't have nutrition. Without the sun, we don't vibrate. Our cells can't communicate. So that's a big factor. As the stuff's going into your cells, it's causing vibrations to happen, and the vitamin D is part of that. It's just
Mhm.
one part of what the sun has. The sun has many things. It has
Oh yeah.
ultraviolet lights and a range of things, but vitamin D, they know when they
Yeah.
isolate it,
Vitamin
they
D,
know
they
that.
know it's a mood enhancer. Um,
Hmm.
it's has that
Help.
like a pick me up, almost like a caffeine effect when you go into the sun, and you and it's not just going into the sun, but it's when you're not, like, let's say you go out on your deck without a shirt, and that morning sun hits you.
Hmm.
That's a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's actually a hormone, right? So it's
Hmm.
basically the hormone that creates all of our hormones in terms of like uh, what is it called? My God, I can't even talk right now. Your fight or flight hormones, right?
Hmm.
Cortisol. So cortisol. So you fight or flight without vitamin D, without cholesterol. Basically, it's like a form of cholesterol that tweaked, and you can't make cortisol. You can't make the sex hormones. You can't make all these hormones that you
Hmm.
need to live. So it's super important. It's good that you're doing that, and getting as much sun as possible is very good without burning. That's the key. Don't burn, but get as much sun as possible. And what does Western medicine tell you? Mainstream medicine says stay away from the sun. They tell you to
Yeah.
slather on sunscreen lotion, which is full of cancerous ingredients, and it's well known that there's cancerous ingredients in there. So you're slathering this stuff on, and skin cancer rates go through the roof.
I'll admit I'm guilty of putting it on, but it's usually when I know I'm going to be, I'm taking me and the kids to the pool, and we're going to be in the pool the whole day.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you, it's if you're going to use something like that, use sunblock, okay,
Hmm.
and make sure the sunblock has zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. Those are
Hmm.
the difference between those two is like those are barriers, right? So
Hmm.
it's like basically you're putting a shield on your body where it's deflecting the light, as
Hmm.
opposed to the chemicals. Those chemicals in the sunscreens are very toxic. So the difference is, yeah, if you're going to Puerto Rico, if you're going to Dominican Republic, where it's going to be like a hunt, like it's going to be full on, you don't want to get burned. You're going to get burned really quick. So what I do is usually cover up. I'll put like I'll go swim, and then I'll put like a towel over my skin,
Yeah.
so it doesn't completely burn. But
Hmm.
you know what I mean? I'll put the sunblock if I really need to, you know. But
Yeah, I know that's where I'm going to be in 2 months. I can't wait.
nice, man. Enjoy, you know.
Yeah, I just finished booking my place. My
Nice, man.
Airbnb got canceled.
What, you
I,
going to Dominican Republic or
no,
Puerto
I'm going to Puerto
Rico?
Rico.
Nice.
I'm going to almost 2 weeks.
Very
I'm
nice, man.
excited.
Enjoy.
Gonna go
I
all the way.
never, yeah, I never been to Puerto Rico yet.
Oh no!
I've been to Dominican Republic. I've been to other places, but I haven't. But I'm gonna go there for sure.
If you go, um, take some time so you could explore, because it's not something where you don't want to just stay in San Juan. You want
Hmm.
to explore the island. It's beautiful. The beaches, like if you stay to the northern part, the beaches are more rough. If you go to like the western portion, that's on the side of the Caribbean Sea, that
Hmm.
those beaches tend to be more calm.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely have to do research, man.
Yeah, you gotta go once in your life. Like that's for me with DR. I've never been to DR. Uh, I never went to Mexico, and I lived in Texas for a few years too.
Mm,
I always want to go see like the Aztec pyramids and the ruins and all that stuff.
it's amazing, amazing
Hmm.
stuff, man, for sure. And Puerto Rico's so close, right? It's like
And the good thing is you don't need a
not even.
passport.
Yeah, it's good.
You just need your driver's license, and that's it.
Yeah, and for me, it's like that's what I like. I like the beach, like anywhere. I don't care for really sightseeing as much. Is like,
Uh-huh.
a lot of people like to go to museums and things. I'm like, you just drop me at a beach and I'm good.
No, I love to see different. I mean, I love to go to the water, but for me, I'm a history guy, so like I love to go see, um, like for example, when I lived in Texas, I went to the Alamo because I'm a history buff. I want to go see the Alamo. when I first moved to Pennsylvania, I went to Rally Forge to go
Nice.
see, like the way, because they have like a setup looking for like the way the Revolutionary Camp was when George Washington was there when he crossed the Delaware.
Yeah.
My next thing I want to go is Gettysburg.
Nice.
I want to see
Yeah.
Gettysburg. My wife is a horror person, so they actually have nighttime ghost tours, which
Nice.
that's more her than me. But
Yeah, don't get me wrong, man. This stuff is fascinating, and I'm not saying, but like obviously, if there's a place with historic, like history,
Mhm.
like real history, you know what I mean? Then obviously it's good to see it. But
Well,
if I'm limited in days, like let's say
uh,
I have like a 3 day, I'm probably gonna just want to go to the beach.
gotcha. I was gonna say if you do go, since you seem like we're a little bit similar with personality, you might like some history. Go to Lades. That's where Puerto Rico had a revolution when they were still part of Spain, and
Hmm.
for 24 hours they were independent until
Wow,
Spain crushed the rebellion.
wow,
Hmm.
that's crazy, man.
So yeah, so we're gonna my kids and everything like that. So we're gonna take the kids and go around and explore. But we have a place next to the beach and we have a pool, so we'll do all that stuff.
Were
Oh
you born in Puerto Rico?
no, no. My father was born there. My mom was born here. The only one of like my siblings that was born was my older sister was born in Puerto Rico.
Nice, man.
But yeah, it's been 17 years.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's funny. One of the first guests that I've had on that I met um, like through the show, but didn't have you on because it's like I had Don Ponchinche on, and then he did his barbecue, and that's how we met. Like we you were one of the people I was having a good conversation with, so I was like, we talked about it. We said, hey, let's do the show, and you're like, yeah. So it
Nice.
was nice to go through with it. Where finally it's like, hey, you know. And for people who don't know, the song that played in the beginning is his new song. So that's why I had him come on because I was like, hey, you just did your new, you just came out with the song. So let's go with it. But let's go into like stuff that we talked about. So we hit it off because we were talking politics, we were talking Trump, we were talking I think RFK was starting at the time too, but we were more talking about Trump because everybody's obsessed with Trump. it's it's like I'm watching all these things and it's like, come on, people, just can we just all agree that we don't like Biden?
Well, some people don't like they can't let that go. Like, I mean, in terms of you're talking about like the liberals in New York or California, like they'll vote for a dead corpse. You know what I mean?
They'll
Rather
vote
than
for a
vote for Trump.
pedophile. They'll
Yeah,
vote for
a rapist.
pedophile that has porn out on the
Yeah,
internet before
absolutely,
they vote for Trump.
absolutely. They'll vote for Satan himself if they, if it wasn't Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so crazy, man, and it's sick. It's the whole thing is like if you ask them why they don't like him, um, a lot of them won't know about policies or what he's done, right? It's
Yeah,
like he's done some good stuff, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So they will never accept it, you
no.
know. So even if he did the things they wanted, like they still would hate him. It's just because the media told them to hate him, you know.
Oh yeah, no,
The mo-
definitely. You look at um like right now, like if you look at all the things they said that he was going to do, they said he was going to crash the economy. But
Mhm.
pre-COVID, the economy was booming. They said, "Oh, if you elect him, we're going to go to World War III." But meanwhile, we're closer to World War III under Biden than we ever were under Trump.
Yeah, that's what they wanted. They want World War III. That's what they want.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
don't disagree with you. I think that's
yeah.
exactly what they want. I mean, you have the sick elite people in the world that think that there's too many people on this planet, and war solves that. Not only does a sickness or a plague like we had in 2020, not only does that help, but so does war. And they make
Yeah,
they get to reduce the population and make money while they're at it.
yeah, absolutely disgusting. It's
You have
interesting. It's a crazy time, very crazy time, and it's like so they go from one thing to another to the other, and they have their goal is to bring in that new world order, that great reset, and this is the next step, right? The first step was COVID-19. That was
hmm
part of the great reset. Now they're step up a notch. Part two, the second platform is the world war, right? Now they want to get Israel to fight with Palestine, right? And they want them to
hmm
go at it. They want to divide us because this is the most divisive thing that we've ever seen, I think, and it's going to be very divisive. And I've already seen it with the right, people on the right, people on the left, just everybody, even in the medical freedom movement. Like just 2 weeks ago, when this thing went through, I started seeing people taking sides, and it was an extreme reaction from both sides. Okay.
yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, I just presented and said, you know what? Because, I take myself out of the emotion, right?
hmm
And I say to myself, okay, what's going on here? I try to analyze the situation, and I'm like, listen, this is not good for anybody, right? I said, I am for peace. I don't want to see people harmed on either side. I mean, there is good Israeli people and there's
hmm
good Palestinian people. Like both, you could say the majority of both sides are good people, right?
hmm
And there's a handful, right, that cause the violence, the handful,
hmm
and it's orchestrated that way. So you can't blame a whole population for the
hmm
actions of few people. And that goes to say
hmm
with every country. So I get attacked for that. I lost over 300 followers for saying that. And I said, I am against violence. I am for peace. We need to find a way to communicate and get that peace resolved. Why is that such a
hmm
bad? What's wrong with that message? So even if you say for peace, it's already been said you can't ask for peace. There needs to be war because the war drum has been beaten. You know what I mean? This is sick, and we have to be very careful, people, and we have to respect each other. I'm trying to respect people as much as possible. I'm coming from a place
Yeah,
of
no,
truth and
I, I,
respect.
um, I say I agree with you. I think that's the problem is, it elicits emotions because especially with how it started, and I think the problem is what it basically boils down to is you have what's going on in university and colleges. They teach this is the irony when it comes to gender is fluid, and you could be 6,000 genders, okay, but when it comes to power dynamics, you're either the oppressor or the oppressed, you know and so because Israel has a military strength, they're the oppressor. And it's like,
Hmm.
okay, let me get this straight. You have all these Muslim countries surrounding this one little tiny Jewish country, and none of these Muslim countries could go, you know what? Hey, look, listen, let's to make peace, we'll take the Palestinians, and let's make peace. We'll take them into our countries. They're our fellow Muslims. We'll take them into our country. No.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
hard. It's hard. I see what you're saying. I see that point being made. But like, if we look at the situation, right, we could say that looking, from outsiders like me and you.
oh yeah, of course.
But like, if you were, imagine you were that person that like was born there, right, from a kid, and let's say you're 20, 30, 40 years old.
Oh no, of course.
You're not going to want to get up and leave, right? And
No, no,
especially if you if
no, I
especially
totally
if you're an
understand.
innocent, yeah, especially if you're an innocent person that doesn't want
No, of course.
violence. So I get and both sides, and I see both sides, and
Oh yeah.
it's like it's
What just
crazy.
annoys me with that thing when they talk about colonizer and
Mm,
all that nonsense, I go, wait a minute, hold up. So if you're gonna say that Israel has to give up being Israel because they're the colonizer, okay, so that means then the Muslims have to give up Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, uh, you know, all those countries there because they used to be Christian before they were conquered and colonized. But how far back do you go when you go, oh, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't be talking about that stuff. It's like at one point or another, every country's been, either colonized or, you know,
Hmm.
what's the word I'm looking for? They
Like oppressed,
conquered, either they were
conquered.
conquered or the conquerors, you
My
know.
question is, listen, the things are as they are, right? The
Mhm.
Palestinians live there, Israelis live there. Like, why can't we come to an agreement? Like, what is stopping the agreement? Because I'm for resolving things,
Oh,
right? So it's like,
I'm there with you.
and yeah, of course you are, because you're a good human being, right?
Mhm.
And so what I'm saying is, why doesn't the UN get involved? Why doesn't somebody come in and say, listen, like as a referee, because that's what the UN's supposed to be for,
Yeah, but
right?
they're
Come
not.
in and say, pause, pause, let's pause, do not strike, do not strike. Everybody stop the nonsense.
Mhm.
Okay, stop it. And when I say nonsense, that'll trigger people. And to be clear, yes, violence happened and they should be punished. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Anybody committing a violent act and horrendous acts like what happened from
Yeah.
Hamas needs to be punished.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but you cannot go after a whole country and just start bombing people, and this results in dead children, dead
Mhm.
women, men, people who are not involved in this shit. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So like, and again, I get it, because then they're gonna say, we have to kill them, but and they're hiding amongst. So that's what makes it
That's
tricky. So
that's
so
the
I
problem.
understand. I
That's what makes it
understand.
really tricky right there, is because, you know, they hide among the people.
Correct. So I
They'll
so
put
we're
their, from what I understand and from, what people tell me, because I have friends in Israel, and they tell me they hide their weapons stashes in, like, mosque, in schools, so like that, to make it more difficult to be hit.
yeah.
And I mean,
It's
that's disgusting.
Yeah, and I don't have the answers, is what I'm saying. You
No,
know what I mean? And,
I
and
agree with you.
nobody,
I
I
don't.
don't think anybody does. And I'm just thinking out loud here. So
Oh no, that's
I'm,
fine.
just thinking out loud, trying to, because when I talk out loud, I'm kind of playing chess in my head. Like, okay, what if they
Hmm.
did this? But then, and you're doing the same, right? Because like you see,
Hmm.
okay, if they do that, then this is what they do. So we're playing it all out. Even
Yeah.
our leaders are not doing the right thing,
Oh
right?
yeah, no,
So
I agree. I mean, the only thing I say, like we were talking earlier, I said, I will admit my bias. My bias is I grew up I grew up around Jews. I grew up next to a synagogue. My friends growing up were Jewish. I had my friend Nachum and Ari. Nachum grew up to be a rabbi, um, and so I mean, my first job that was given to me by, um, at a clothing store in Orchard Street. I don't know if you know where Orchard Street is,
not
down the Lower
exactly,
East
no.
Side. You know where Delancey is.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
So there used to be a lot of Jewish stores there, and the Jewish owner, he was a Holocaust survivor. He had the tattoo on his forearm, and so he always used to wear long sleeves, even in the summer,
Wow.
or jackets to always cover it.
Yeah, man. I
You
have
know.
friends, both sides, and
Hmm.
I know a few people, even the Hasidic community, that I worked with, because for the mandates and before COVID, just religious
Hmm.
exemptions. I work with. These are amazing people. Like, these are
Hmm.
great people.
Hmm.
So I definitely, like, I don't have a bias in terms of, like, I just look at human beings as human beings, man, and
Oh,
like
I
you
agree
said,
with you there,
yeah,
but I just
yeah,
meant it in my sense where I admit my bias, that I'll be like, okay, I lean
no, no, I
toward
get you, I
I
get
lean
you,
toward the Israels and the Jews because I grew up around them. So, I've seen the good and the bad with them. It's not
correct.
like I'm not gonna say all my experiences. Like I had Nachum and Ari, but I got into a fight with Fisher that, because he didn't like me because I was Puerto Rican. You
Yeah,
know,
listen, there's good and bad in every phrase, right? So we know that.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is, like, it's complicated, man.
Mhm.
And I see, but this is what they want. They want us divided because somebody instigated that war, right?
Oh, of course.
Somebody's making money off that war. Joe Biden gave how many billion? 9 billion. I don't know what the number is. You might know, but he gave money to Iran, right?
It was six. It was $6 billion that he this is the weasel words that they'll use. They'll be like, "We didn't give them $6 billion. We released $6 billion that was frozen, that was already their money, but we didn't allow them to touch it." So they'll go, "But of that $6 billion, they could only spend it on certain things that we tell them they could spend it on. Okay, so this is what I go. That's funny because if I know, let's say if I go, I have $1,000 for my rent next month. Okay. And if you tell me, hey, Carlos, I'm going to give you $1,000 next month for your rent. Oh, cool. So that means that $1,000 I already have set aside for my rent. Now I can spend it on, you know, liquor and hookers. There you go. So it's like, I didn't use your $1,000 for those, that liquor and the hookers. But guess what? It still got spent on the liquor and the hookers because you gave me money for my rent.
And another thing is like the
Why did you
weapons.
use it as an example? Because they say
Yeah,
that $6 billion, they didn't use it for terrorist activities, and it's like,
yeah. Listen,
wow,
man, this is so crazy. It's like, you know, we don't know all the answers and we don't know exactly where it stems from, but we can see that there is some hand causing this to happen, right?
yeah,
And it's going to get deep. The division's going to be intensified because they need us to be taking sides so they can
hmm
further divide us, separate us, depopulate us as they're killing people. Like
yeah,
right now, people are dying. How many thousands probably have died already?
yeah,
Hundreds of thousands? Who knows?
not
Like, pe-
hundreds, but thousands, yeah,
okay, let's say thousands. Then the shots that they just gave, people died from that. They're
oh
just going
yeah,
to keep doing this stuff. But this is more of I see this as the beginning of the new world order system being placed because things are going to escalate after this. They're going to
oh yeah.
intensify the surveillance. The surveillance is going to get really insane after this. Uh, and the digital systems coming in with the digital currency, and soon you won't be able to travel as easy as we can now,
Well, it's
right?
like
They're
China.
gonna
That's China. That's the system in China. It's like I
we're
tell.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say. I mean, I've had someone on the show. He's a foreign policy guy. Because I'm like, I know bits and pieces about foreign policy, but there's a guy who used to write for the Bush administration, the father, not the son, and
Sorry,
so he
somebody's
knows.
calling me. Sorry, I was saying
Oh, no
I
problem.
hung up. They were trying to call me.
So yeah, so um, he's a foreign policy expert. So he was, he talks about China and stuff like that. Like he could tell you like a bunch of stuff about China, where it's like, you know, when Trump ran and he said our biggest enemy is China, he's not wrong. And it's like if we turn a blind eye to China, we lost. Just because the
Yeah,
fact that everything they're doing, like Biden wanting to go, okay, climate change. I get people believe the religion of climate change because that's what I call it. I call it the religion because a lot of those people who believe in climate change don't believe in God. They're atheist or agnostic. I don't know where your stand is on it, but
yeah. I think it's a hoax. I
I
think
think
it's
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 it's for
ridiculous.
control. That's all it is. But with this whole thing for pushing for electric cars, who's the country that supplies most of the elements needed for electric cars?
China,
China.
China. They own most of the rare earth minerals. They have access to all
Mhm.
the caves, the mine, wherever they're mining this stuff from. They have all of that. They said that,
Congo, now
yeah,
Afghanistan.
yeah, and
So
it's
yeah,
ridiculous. Climate
uh,
change.
uh,
It's ridiculous. I mean, carbon. They try to say that carbon is so bad for you, but that's what plants need to grow, right? In order for a rainforest to be powerful and to be strong and thriving, it needs a lot of carbon dioxide, right?
yeah.
So you're basically saying what they're saying by that theory is that we have to kill our rainforests in order to
Well,
save the planet, even though
what
they're
it
saying,
boils
oh, we need
down
to
to
green it.
is they needed something that they could legitimately use to control. Because if let's say you say water is bad for you,
Hmm.
you know, people are just gonna be like, yeah, okay. Now, dirty water is bad for you. You want to keep water clean.
Yeah.
Uh, dirty air is bad for you. You don't want pollution in your air. But they'll go, oh well, we have too much carbon dioxide in the
Yeah,
air.
it sounds dangerous because it
It's like,
sounds scientific.
yeah, that's like, but people are so stupid that I don't know if you've ever seen like videos where they'll tell people, they'll go, here, they'll go here. We're trying to put regulations on what is it, carbon dioxide? Excuse me, hydrogen dioxide.
Yeah, for water. Yeah, I saw that. It's funny.
And people be like, yeah, hydrogen dioxide. And the person that's there trying to get them to sign it, they're like, yeah, they use it as an industrial solvent, and they use it, and they'll give it all these real purposes that water is used for, but they don't realize, they don't put two and two together, that hydrogen dioxide is water. And they'll sign it thinking, oh yeah, I did something good. No, you didn't. You just signed the petition to ban water.
Yeah, people are crazy, man. People are they're not
And
that
that's what I
bright
mean.
anymore.
It's
Yeah,
like
they're not
carbon
that bright.
dioxide, like you said, the plants need it to breathe, and there's a symbiotic relationship. They produce more oxygen if there was more carbon dioxide in the air.
Yeah, and they got caught. They got caught lying back in 2009. The emails were leaked. Thousands of emails were leaked from UN scientists that said, "Oh, the data is not showing what we want it to show." So then they agreed on the email. Oh, we'll just hide the data. You know what I mean? So they hid the data. They got caught, busted, called ClimateGate.
Yeah,
ClimateGate. For
I
those
know.
who don't know, I know you probably know, but like for
Yeah.
those who are listening who don't know, look up ClimateGate.
Hmm.
Uh, it's total bullshit, total bullshit, and they need to be called out on this because it needs to stop. And it doesn't look like it's going to stop because these people keep pushing it and pushing
No, it
it.
doesn't. And then all their predictions don't come through. Like, you ever seen the Inconvenient Truth, the Al Gore movie?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, none of the predictions came true.
of
It's
course not.
like,
They said we would be submerged underwater by now, right?
yeah, they said the Arctic would have no ice.
Yeah. And what they did was they got caught. There was like when they have like I don't know which magazine. I don't know. I'll say Time, but
Yeah,
I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't say Time because I don't know if it's them. But whatever. There's some major magazine that they're showing the polar bears, and they zoom in with the camera on one polar bear on one little ice glacier.
yeah,
Like, oh my God, the poor polar bear. There's
yeah.
no ice. It's all melted. Meanwhile, if you looked over, there was a whole land of glacier, like just
Hmm.
tons of ice. But
Oh
they
yeah,
just focused on the little thing to make you feel like the polar bear's about to die and it's your
yeah.
fault.
And the thing about it is, what the people don't, if you do research into polar bears, they could swim at one sitting, like nonstop, for like 500 to 600 miles.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because they go swimming. That they love to eat um the whales and the seals. That's
Wow.
what they really like, the seals. Excuse me. So they have to swim after them. And that's the
Wow.
one advantage they have over the deers is I mean, I say deers, I mean seals.
And you would think because they're like so big and bulky, like you wouldn't think that they can do that, but it's pretty
But it's a lot of
impressive.
things. They it's the fur, and it's that they need to build up that, they need that buildup of fat in order to keep living in that environment. But yeah, no, it's crazy that they do that stuff. And then people, I remember I got into an argument with one of my coworkers one time because he was a big climate change person. And I showed him this paper, and it showed how all the planets in the solar system, the temperatures were rising, including our own. So all the temperatures and all the planets in our whole solar system were going up, but we're responsible as human beings for climate change. And it was just like, I told him, what's the mitigating factor? And he's like, I don't know. And I said, the sun. Go back to how important the sun is.
And
The
they want to
sun,
block it out, and they want to
yeah,
block it out to make things worse. This
yeah.
is insanity,
It
insanity.
global for people who don't like for the people who are listening and believe in climate change, it's actually worse. Okay, global warming is better for us than global cooling, because even if we have global warming, let's say for example, there'll be parts of the planet that would probably might become more of a desert, but there'll be other parts like Canada where they can't grow food right now. There's parts of Canada, the plateaus in Canada, that would be able to grow food.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Because if you have cooling, you don't want things will die. Things will
Yeah,
definitely die, like more so than if it was to warm. Like if you look at the average, right, around the whole world,
yeah,
for sure.
and that's what
But
people need to understand. But
well, listen, man, the message has to be said to the youth, right? Because we're the older, we're not gonna, it's not gonna affect us as much as the youth. The youth needs to be taught this, right?
oh
So there
yeah,
needs to be people need to start educating themselves and then passing it on to their kids, onto the younger generation. And there needs to be an outreach because if that agenda doesn't stop, they're not gonna have a future.
yeah, no, I agree 100%. I do that to my niece. I've challenged my niece on a bunch of things because my niece is 15 now, so I challenge her and stuff. I remember we used to talk about the trans stuff, and she's like, Theo, I don't understand why you make such a big deal about it and blah 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 blah.
You gotta
Okay,
like everybody,
yeah,
and
and it's
that's what
like
they teach them.
it's not about hate. My whole thing
Yeah.
about it is not about hate, and it wasn't until she's a swimmer. So that whole stuff with Leah Thomas, with when she did, the swimming stuff and started taking all those awards and all the scholarships,
This is
and then I told
unbelievable,
my
man.
niece, and I'm like, I told you so, and
And
she
what did
goes,
she say?
no, she was like, you were right. And I go, this is what I was worried about. It wasn't my position didn't come from a place of hate. My position came from a place of love for women. And it's like there's a reason why we made these spaces for women was because they can't compete with men.
Correct. Correct.
We're
And
meant to
it's not
complement
fair.
we're meant to complement each other. We're not meant to be fighting each other. We're not meant to be in competition with each other. Men and women, we're meant to complement each other.
Yeah.
Work
Men
side by
shouldn't yeah,
side.
men should not be wrestling women. I mean, that's crazy, you
Well,
know?
just in the bedroom, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, that you saw what happened with the right, it was a MMA
Oh yeah,
right?
Fallon Fox, she busted a woman's skull.
That should be illegal. That's
There
crazy.
was there was even in high school, there was this high school volleyball player that was a male to female transitioner who spiked the ball and caused the girl to have a bad concussion that I think she was in the hospital for like a month.
And then they kept doing it. You're saying like so after that
Well,
happened, they just
they
kept
keep doing it because you know they use
because
our good nature against us, and it's like because we want to be fair, we want to be nice, and it's like, but they take it too far where you're just like, look, listen, if you're a dude that wants to be a chick, more power to you. One, just do it as an adult and leave the kids out of it. That's it. Let
yeah.
kids stop trying to teach kids this shit because they already get confused as it is.
Yeah, and then the second thing is the sports situation. Like, no, I'm sorry, you cannot fight, you cannot box a woman. You're just not
Yeah,
going to do that. But
no.
this world is
This.
insane.
Like right now, my daughter's 6. She plays soccer. She plays soccer with the boys. But at that age, they're not much different from each other.
Yeah,
Once they hit puberty, that's where the changes start to occur.
yeah,
And that's when it's like, okay, now that's when they can't play together anymore. It has to be just boys and girls, and that's it.
it's so
Not
crazy,
co-ed.
man.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy world we live in. It's like, I mean, it's a good thing that we have people like you that like your music there, like that was um it kind of reminded me of the rap version of the Muse. um
What
what's the name of it? It's called crap, the name of it, I ugh. It's a rock song. Is it Muse? What is it? The Uprising. That's what it's called. I don't know if you ever
hmm,
heard the song.
I probably did, but maybe I don't know the title. I don't know. You got to send it to me later.
Yeah, I'll send it to you because I know if God forbid I play it, I could do like 10 seconds. Maybe if you hear like
Ah,
10 seconds.
don't worry. If you think you're going to get
Yeah.
censored, then don't worry about it. I mean, a
No, that's
copyright,
the intro right there. Yeah, I'll send it to you. But that's called. It's called The Uprising because this is like they talk about that they will not control us.
Hmm.
And it's like, Um, they talk about revolution in the song too, and I've never been a rap person. I appreciate your, I can never do it. I appreciate your talent for it. It's not my cup of tea, but to each their own. I'm more of a salsa, um, which is weird. Salsa and rock music. That's always been my two.
Nice,
Uh, maybe some techno and some
nice.
dance music.
I
Has a
like
good
I like
beat.
all, yeah. I like all music. I like, as long as it's good. I like quality music, but most rap music out there, I never liked it.
I
It's just
like early
garbage.
'90s rap. Early
Me
'90s
too.
rap.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
the new stuff to me is trash. I know it sounds like every other old guy going that old
But it's
stuff.
true. It's true.
To
It's true.
me
Look
that
how many rappers in the 90s, most like a lot of them were good. There was a lot of talent right there.
yeah.
I mean, of
And
course it was
how
always
many of them
garbage.
still are? How many? The ones that are alive are still big today.
That's true. Yeah.
And if they're not big like artists, they're big behind the scenes. Like like Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre's in the back doing all the stuff. He's not
Correct.
the artist anymore. You know, um, like Puff Daddy and even Jay Z. Like Jay Z's not really doing so much anymore, but back in the day, although his old stuff is still better than his new stuff.
Yeah, I never liked him particularly, but yeah, like
Yeah,
I mean,
I've never
I,
been a.
I was
But I used
always
him.
like, mhm.
No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I just used him as an example of someone that was rapping in the '90s and is still in the industry today.
Yeah, and it's always going to be like that. Like no matter what music genre, there's always going to be a small percentage that is really exceptional, right? And
Yeah.
that's what I look for. I've always get inspired by like people, just exceptional artists. Like I'm not into like your average music. It's like I want to see beauty. I want to see things with a message. All the stuff
Exactly.
going on right now
I
is
want to be able to
horrible.
understand it. Like that's what I was like that's what I liked about your song is I'm able to understand the lyrics. Like when you're rapping, I could understand it because you enunciate.
Yeah, thank you, man. That's my thing is like I want to make sure I focus on clear communication, you know.
Yeah.
Um, for sure, because that's what I'm there for. I'm not there to just you know mesmerize you with like you know some impressive things like in terms of like speed and like people have different approaches. I just want to get the
Mhm.
message out, and I always try to put a spiritual nature to it, like a feel. I like to put spirituality. I like to put wisdom. I like to draw from different things and just combine everything together and just hit people with a message that will help create change for the world because I feel like that's what we need to do. And the music now is terrible. Like Cardi B, like I felt so bad. Like last year, I'll never forget this day. These group of girls, teenage girls, were coming out of school, high school, and I was about to take the train, and they were coming through, and they had blasting Cardi B music. These girls were probably like 15 years old. And I have daughters now. They're 20 and 18, and just thinking about my daughters and then thinking about what I'm just hearing right now, they were blasting Cardi B and the girls were singing some vile lyrics uh, that, I was shocked. Like, I mean, obviously when we were younger, girls spoke like that too, but not
Yeah.
to see it as an adult, you know what I mean? You revisit it and say, wow. And I felt sorry for these girls. I'm like, wow, look what they're saying. Like totally disrespecting themselves and basically calling themselves pure trash
Yeah.
and saying that they'll do all these things and just demoralizing stuff. And I'm like, wow, like you literally, call yourself this and that and that. I'm not even gonna repeat the stuff, but like it's just disgusting. And like that's the message being allowed because the radio, all this stuff, the media has to filter things, right? If they don't want something to be said, they'll put it away. Like if you speak about the truth, they're going to put you and shelve you away. But if you speak about sex, drugs, and anything that will, you know, just a fucked up, you know, lifestyle, they're going to promote that,
Oh yeah.
right? They're going to promote it because they want to demoralize you.
A demoralized people are easier to control.
Yeah, I mean, and it dumbs you down, right? Like these girls are dumb. Like the message is be stupid
Mhm.
and get drunk, be stupid and get high, be stupid and just have sex and just use your body as a whorehouse and just, sleep with everybody. It's all good because Cardi B said so. You know what I mean? This is not a message for a young woman. This is
No.
not a message for a young man, like to disrespect people. And it's just not going to end up well because these kids now, they're going to have babies. They're going to, be with different men and,
Hmm.
spreading diseases, spreading like it's just there's no way your life
No.
can go right. There's no
It,
way.
it, yeah. No. It's really sad. I seen it. I see it with like in my family. I see it like I have a niece, and she has that Cardi B attitude, and I see it with her kid, and it's like it's disgusting. And you have another niece that you know
Hopefully they're not going to listen to this show, man.
no,
You're going to
no.
be in trouble. Like, "Were you
Well,
talking
that's why.
about me, man?"
That's why I don't say names. But no, I mean
Yeah,
one of
don't say
them.
names.
No, they wouldn't. I mean they're stuck in that liberal Democrat plantation, so
Of
they would
course.
never listen to my show. I'm not
And
worried
even
about.
if they did, you're saying it out of love, man. That's,
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's not like, yeah, I mean, I wish, like, whenever I was around her, because they live like far away, but whenever I was around her, I like, you don't talk to me that way. It like from the get go when I met her, I was like, look, listen, we may just met, I may, but I'm your aunt's husband, and if you're gonna talk with her respect, you're gonna talk to me with respect. I don't, I don't. You want respect? I'll give it to you. But the minute you disrespect me, that don't fly. And so because I'm a hard ass like that, I'm not going to say that, but I do it out of love because I'm like, I don't want to yell at a kid. I don't want to yell at someone else. You know, I want to be like, okay, you respect me, I respect you. We're good. Because
Yeah.
I've had family members that are like, well, I could treat you like shit, but you got to respect me. It's like, get the fuck out of here. I ain't gonna. That's not gonna fly. And
Yeah,
I've
you have
never
to
wanted that
teach.
either.
Yeah,
So,
it's a two-way street, right? You have to show respect and, you demand respect. Demand
oh
respect.
yeah, that's a creative minds just put in quotations ratchet.
Yeah.
That's the word. Yes, very much so. But oh,
Yeah.
so like I said, I love that what you're talking about with your message, with your music, and I think that's important. It's like, it, if you're gonna try to get a message out there, have it positive. You know, try to change like what you're trying to do with your music and changing the world. It's important. I think it's great what you're doing with your activism and your music. And I think, like I seen some of the Freedom Valleys where you're rapping at the Freedom Valley. I'm like, I admire you because I'm like, I can never do that shit. Like this, original, like, this doing what I do right now. And when I first started, it took a lot because
I know.
uh, I'm very, I'm an extrovert, but doing this stuff is it's not. People think it's like really easy to do, to talk with
It's
someone for
not
like an
easy.
hour or two.
Definitely, yeah. I remember when I first did my first Instagram live, right?
Mhm.
I was nervous. I'm not usually an extrovert. I'm usually an introvert. I'm
Right.
usually a shy person. I was shy growing up. I was a shy kid, and like this world just made me do it because like, yo, I gotta speak out because I knew I had to say something. So I got over that, like, speaking publicly. I just started
Mhm.
doing it, and I remember the first day, like I public speaking and like about really the COVID thing is what made me get on the actual, to get up and speak to people, right? In Union
Uh-huh.
Square, I said, you know what, I'm just going to get up and talk, and that nervousness just left. I said, you know what, I'm just going to speak from the soul, and
Mhm.
that's when you tap into the soul, the nervousness goes away. You know what I mean? Because you say, you know what, this is what's right, and from a crowd of 5 people watching, the next week it would become 20 people, the next week it would be 30 people, and we kept doing these talks in Union Square. Then we started seeing a massive growth one after the other, and like that's where I met a lot of people like Joe Speaks Truth and like Curtis, um, Curtis Orwell. I started meeting these people there just from speaking out in Union Square. People started uniting, and before you know it, man, one day had like thousands of people in Times Square, and then it grew to like City Hall. One day, somebody said that it
Oh,
was maybe 15 to 20,000 People.
I went to the one in City Hall. The one that
Nice.
went from the one that he started in at Brooklyn and then they
Hmm.
walked to City Hall.
Yeah, man.
I
That was
attended that one.
massive. That was
That
massive.
was that had to be probably about 25, 30,000 people
That's what people were estimating, you know?
because they couldn't get off the bridge.
Wow.
They couldn't get off the bridge and everything there was crowded. I didn't go to Brooklyn because I just stood in the Manhattan side waiting for them to walk over.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either, man. I'm not crossing over. There's too much work. You know,
Well, it
let
just
other
so
people
happens
do it.
that I'm from Manhattan, so I had parked my car
No, I get
where
it.
my parents live in the Lower East Side, and then I walked over to City Hall, and I started like I was talking to cops, and cops wouldn't go on video, but the stuff that they told me, they're like, I can't tell you on camera, but I could tell you that we agree with the people that are here.
Absolutely. A lot of, there was cops telling me, I mean, I saw Fauci. Like, we knew Fauci was going to be in Harlem, and we went
Uh,
there. I bullhorned him. Like, they saw us. Like, he saw us.
nice.
And the cop, like, whispered to me, he's like, hey, I just want to let you know, man, keep doing what you're doing. He's like, they appreciated it. They're like,
Mhm.
we support you guys, you
No, and
know?
that's good. I mean, it sucks that they can't do it publicly because they could lose their job.
Yeah,
And I get it. I was like, there's some people like, oh, fuck it. It doesn't matter. It's just a job. And it's like, it's your livelihood. People got to live. People got to feed their kids. I
correct.
get it. People want to be so, it's either this or it's that. And it's like, no, they got to eat. Their kids got to eat.
Yeah. I mean, unless they're doing something morally wrong, right? Unless, like, if
Yeah.
obviously if a cop is doing something like, but like, you
Like if
know,
he's suppressing free speech, then no, 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 no. You
obviously.
know, it'll be like, you should be looking the other way for someone doing free speech. But if there's someone getting raped, then no, 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 beat the shit out of that person that's trying to
Yeah.
rape that
And I think
that
if they're
woman.
violating, yeah, if they're violating the Constitution, then yeah, they should lose their jobs, for
Hmm.
sure.
No, definitely. But yeah, if you ever know something about these events, if you know like they're happening ahead of time, you know, give me a shot because I'm like, if I could get like babysitting and all that stuff, I would love to go to one of those events. But I always see them
Sounds
last
good,
minute.
man.
I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man,
man.
I wish I could have. Wish I could have went.
Yeah, I mean, I post things as I get them. I don't go to a lot of them, but whatever I see when people post flyers, I usually will repost in my stories, or I'll
Mhm,
post on my page if it's a big one. So just look
mhm.
out for that. New York Freedom Rally, if you're following them, they post the stuff
Yeah,
regularly.
but the algorithm doesn't always give me what they're that's why I was like,
I
if
know.
you know something that's going to go on, like let's say like a
Absolutely.
month or two from now or something like that, you know, shoot me, let me know, like send me the message so I could go, okay, let me see what I could
Sounds
do
good.
about going there. Because that's how I did the first Freedom Rally. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be, I think it was a Tuesday. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave my kid with my mother so I could go there. And I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna be a couple of hours. He's good to go. And then, I went, came back, got my footage, and you know, I
Nice.
got like one of my biggest hits is one of I have a teacher talking about how she was losing her job because she
Wow.
refused the vaccine, and like you could see the pain in her voice. So
Wow. Yeah, it sucks, man.
it does. It's really horrible what they the shit that they try to pull off.
Yeah, and I think I mean, I'm hopeful. I don't know if it's it's hard to say like if we're gonna win or not, but like at least we're gonna try. We're gonna attempt to. And I say to myself, I give myself no other option. I say we're gonna win. We're gonna succeed in what we're doing
Well,
because
it's
I'm
going to have
I'm
to get worse before it gets better, and
correct.
that's the problem. What's going on is it's not it's not bad enough yet. New York, especially New York City, New York City hasn't hit rock bottom yet. They
Yeah,
have to
that's
hit
that's
rock bottom.
scary. It's scary too because it's gonna get bad. It's gonna
Oh,
get
it's
bad.
going to have it's like what happened, pre Giuliani. New York City was averaging like 2,000 murders a year before Giuliani came and took over and
I
cleaned New
remember.
York.
It was terrible, man. Back in the early
Mhm.
90s, late
Yeah,
80s,
yeah,
it was terrible.
yeah. It took 2,000 murders for like 3 years straight for New York to finally go, okay, and maybe we should try a Republican for once.
Oh
and he
man,
cleaned up New York.
we'll
So,
see, man.
well, we'll see. I mean, I mean, there's a lot of excitement. I see like stuff going on in New York, and it gets me hopeful that my old hometown will, wake up one day.
Yeah, man. I think we're gonna, eventually people are gonna realize, but it might be a little too late for some people. But listen, man, I'm here trying my best, so I'm gonna have a I want to put out the energy of, we're going to be victorious because we are coming from a place of truth, right? Truth, you can't hide truth for too long, right?
Hmm.
And you can't stop love, right? They work on fear, and they work on hatred, and they work with demonic forces, right? So if you're doing evil things, and you want to suppress people's speech, that's not going to fly for too long, because you can only suppress a human being for oh so long. But
There's
the
a,
human wants to express themselves, and once you silence, there's going to
mhm.
be a rebellion, and that rebellion is going to happen.
I listened to this guy Dan Bongino. I don't know if you know him.
Hmm.
He talks about the beach ball, the beach ball effect, where he goes, you can only hold the beach, uh, like the beach ball. You can
Hmm.
only hold it down under the water for so long before it comes back up.
That's true. It's so, like, so imagine suppressing your voice. Imagine
Yeah.
somebody just grabbing your mouth saying, "Shut up! Don't talk! Don't
Hmm.
talk! Don't talk!" How much longer are you going to put up with that? You're going to
Yep.
fight back, and that's what's going to happen when you push back, or when the tyranny comes.
Hmm.
Because that's how I woke up. I woke up because of tyranny. Because
Hmm.
somebody told me that I have to take a flu shot. I said, "What? Who the hell do you think you are?" Like, that's how my rebellious nature is. Like, who are you to tell me what I'm going to put in my body? And that's what woke up the beast in me. And ever since then, I can't shut up. So I know there's people that are crazier than me. You know what I mean? So, hey, bring it on.
No, that's good. Well. Let people know where's the best way for them to follow you, because like I put your Instagram and like the link to your website.
Yeah, awesome. So, like, yeah, Instagram is where that's my most active place. All the other platforms are, like, for me, I'm on there just to be on there, just to kind of have a backup. But Instagram.com/Kozis Wellness, that's Kozis Wellness. That's where you can find me. Uh, and, come get information. I make it fun. I laugh a lot. I'm a comedian. I'm an artist. Like you said, I'm a
Yeah.
rapper.
Oh yeah,
I
he's a
bring it
character.
all.
We got along quick. Like when we went to the barbecue together, we were joking around like we knew each other.
Yeah, so, like, I try to bring a good mix of things to
Hmm.
entertain you guys, and just, bring the community together. So that's what we need, more community.
No, I agree. More community, more togetherness, and less divisiveness, and less hate.
Absolutely, man.
No, oh, it was great having you on. I'm gonna,
Yeah,
um, definitely, like I said, let me know ahead of time, and I'll see if I can go to one of these things. If not, then the next time I'll see you will be the next barbecue.
sounds good, man. It was great talking to you. Thank you for
All
having
right,
me on, man.
nice talking with
All
you. Well,
right,
you have
brother.
a good night, and everyone have a good night, and hope you guys follow him on Instagram, and give his video a like. Don't forget, like, subscribe to my channel, like and subscribe to his channel, watch his video, click that thumbs up, because that's how his video and my video will get recommended to everyone. So that being said, have a good one,
Take
everyone.
care. Take care, everybody.